What a privilege to have you on tonight. Men, welcome, welcome, welcome to the locker room. And we're going to have some fun tonight. Before we get started, can I just do this? I want to tell you how proud I am of you. I know you're beat up. I know you've been so busy. I know you have so much going on in your lives. And for you to take 30 minutes out of your life to just sharpen the saw is really very impressive to me. I am so grateful for you. Second thing I want to do is, if you will let me, a dear, dear, dear friend of mine just passed away. And I want to do this call tonight in honor of my buddy. He was a world changer. He believed when others didn't. And if there was one word that personified his life, it was this word: persist. When others would give up, he just wouldn't give up. When others said it was too tough, he wouldn't give up. He found Jesus. And when he found that relationship with God, he made it the center of his life. And I just recently had the privilege to honor him at his service. And I just want Tim Bryant to know from the heavens tonight, you're loved and you touch so many lives. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of men's lives were changed because of this man. So you're right. I want to talk about being persistent tonight. And I wonder if that's ever been said about you. I wonder, as a man, if anybody ever said, gosh, that dude is tough. No matter what he comes up against, no matter what he struggles at, no matter whatever doubts he has, whatever fears he deals with, no matter what insecurities attack his heart and his mind, no matter the setbacks, no matter the failures, no matter the moments where he's wondering deep in his soul, am I enough? I just want to ask you, have you been persistent? I believe it's one of the character traits of a man that just absolutely is so attractive. I think every team wants a man that's persistent. I think every woman on the planet wants a man that is persistent. I think every person around you wants you to have the character trait that when everybody else wants to give up and go home, you have this character trait that says, no, I'm going to fight and I'm going to win. I do have to tell you, without persistence, you're never in your life ever going to get to resilience. If you're not persistent, you will never know the feeling of the comeback. And I want to tell you right now, some of you are struggling. Listen to me. I'm not trying to be popcorn positive right now. I'm not trying to be a positive preacher. Right now, I'm telling you, a lot of your setbacks right now are absolutely setups for comebacks. And I want you to be encouraged tonight. And I think you're going to be equipped in the next 23 minutes as we chat and as we talk. Without persistence, you will never know what it feels like to finish. Have you ever been around somebody that they start a lot of things, they just don't finish? They sound good, they look good, they smell good. You just can't count on them. You know what I'm talking about, men. You've had them in your life. Some of them, those men were your fathers. And now you're breaking the curse off of your life so that your children don't have to face the same example and the same pain. Without persistency, you won't know resiliency. You won't know what it feels like in your life to finish. You'll never really know what it feels like to win. Winning's important. It is. It's important. And every man on this call is hungry to win. Win the heart of the person you love most. Win the hearts and the minds of the people that God's given you to lead. Win the minds and the hearts of your children. Their respect of you, their love of you, their unbelievable heart that just goes, Daddy, I trust you. I believe it's what we live for outside of hearing God say, well done. By the way, if we don't learn persistence, we'll never hear the words, well done. Wow. And I think every man listening to me right now knows that you're living to hear these words, well done. thou good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a few things. Now I'm going to make you ruler over many things. You may be saying to me right now, Tim, I'd love to be persistent. I don't know what I should be persistent at. I would love to know and have something in my life that was so meaningful to me, that mattered so much, that I would stay in the fight, that I would stay in even when I'm in pain. Hey, listen, even when discouragement knocks on your door, you know what I'm talking about. It's amazing how discouragement it just sneaks in. It sneaks in the lowliest places in the world. It sneaks into the most impoverished areas and says, you'll never have a future. It also sneaks in to the home of the millionaire who is in his whirlpool. And discouragement says, you ain't got no reason to live. It's all a joke. It's all pomp and circumstances. Persistency. I've found that talent is important. I've found that knowledge is important. I've found out that prayer is important. I've found out that the Word of God is so important. I've found out that my relationship with Him is so important. But I found out that in life, the ability to persist when everything inside of you says, shut down. Do you realize of salespeople? Let me just talk to you for a second, man. 48% of all salespeople make one call and stop. 25% of all salespeople make two calls and stop. 15% of all salespeople make three calls and stop. 12% of all the salespeople keep going, keep calling, and these 12% of people make 80% of all the sales. Persistency. Let me just punch pause for a second. I got a man on this call tonight. You got on and you look good. I see your faces. But there's been a voice in the back of your head saying, it's not worth it. You're about to give up on everything that matters to you. And I want to encourage you tonight in these next 24 minutes or 22 minutes to just listen. Persistence. It's more than a mind thing. It's really more of a heart thing. It's more of a spirit thing. I love to be with men that just look me in the eye and go, you can count on me. I'm not going to run. I'm not going to hide. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to surrender. I will stay in the fight. Imagine being Jesus when He looks around and sees who's still there. Wow. So if you feel you've been looked over or left out, I think He knows what that feels like. How are you going to do it? I'm going to give you an acrostic. Are you ready? The P stands for you've got to have purpose. Do you know your calling? Do you know your destiny? If you know it, are you in it? If you don't know it, are you seeking it out? Right now, I want you to get to Orlando. I'm gonna have a meeting, and I'm gonna put you through a gift testing so you can find your spiritual gift. But I do want to tell you, I don't think you're ever going to find your gift or your calling in a test. I think it's going to come through a confirmation of someone looking at you and saying, there's more in you. There's more in you. Will you step out of your insecurity? Will you step out of your pride? Will you step out of your hurt? Will you step out of your pain? And will you step into your destiny? It's an invitation as much as an opportunity. Can I tell you? Purpose. It just changes everything. When you know why, you'll defeat everybody you know that knows how. Because the people that know how always work under the leadership of the leader that knows why. Why do you do it? Why do you persist? Why would you do it right now? Why would you? My friend Tim, he couldn't hear that well. He had a little bit of a speech impediment, and yet he changed millions of lives. Most men would have said, no, I can't do that. Persistent. Are you going to be persistent in your purpose? At the end of your life, What will be said of you and about you? You know that little baby you hold in your hands? That little baby already feels your ability and heart to fight. That little baby's going to grow up to be a young woman or a young man, and they're going to remember more about what you lived than what you taught. Persistent. The E stands for you get rid of excuses. Whatever reasons you have, no matter how great they sound, no matter how awesome you can I tell you, some of us are just so brilliant. We just know how to articulate and we know how to architect our statements. But will you and I step out from behind those carefully crafted messages and signals and well, can we just face facts? Will I get rid of the image? And will I go, you know what? I want you to know straight on, I'm not enough. I'm in over my head. I don't know. Can I tell you, men? I hope, as you've been getting emails from me, I hope every one of you have joined me in praying for your wife, or praying for your wife to be, or praying for your mom, or praying for your sisters, or praying for your coworkers. But I want to encourage you not to stop this. I'm working right now, get ready. I'm working on getting so you can hand the list to your wife so she can pray for you every day, men that are married. Those of you that have girlfriends, we'll give them to them. Begin to pray for you. And then I want to bring a list that every day you can pray for your children. That God would guide them, that He would protect them, and that they would be persistent and they would find their purpose and they would get rid of their excuses. Have you ever been around somebody that was brilliant, that had more talent than you could ever imagine? Matter of fact, more than they ever understood, but they just always had an excuse. I want to encourage you today to replace your excuses with dreams. I want you to start dreaming of being the man you always wanted to be, the leader you always wanted to be, the friend you always wanted to be. By the way, real soon, I'm going to talk about a man and his friends. Because the 5 closest men in your life to you are going to determine where you head. Now, you can be around great men and not be great. And you can be around men that are not great and become great. It's all about you deciding to get rid of the excuses and stop looking for a way out and start looking for a way through. Don't run from it. Run to it. And watch what happens. The R stands for taking responsibility. The best ability is responsibility. I want to encourage you to take responsibility. Say it starts with me. I'm not going to blame anybody else, because when you blame, you become lame. Don't blame. Don't blame. Stop blaming. Stop blaming my dad, my mom, my sister, my brother, them people at work. Stop it. It will not work. It is a failed strategy. I know you think it's working, but it's not. I want to beg you right now to say, you know what? No longer am I going to place it somewhere else. I'm going to take responsibility. I'm going to lead. Listen, somebody's got to go first. Right now, if you're on our app, I hope you have our G5 app. I hope you have it. If you're on this call, you probably do have it. And I hope you're sending it out to 10 other men. I hope you're sending it out to other people in need. Right now, I've been in a series in the book of James. I don't know for certain, but I think it's probably somewhere between 17 and 20 weeks I've been on it. And right now, I went through anger. And I kind of led us up off the mat and talked about God stretching us. So I hope you're with me on this. And this Sunday, it will be out this Sunday, I started on how to resolve conflict. What's destroying your life and your purpose and your persistency is not conflict. It's unresolved conflict. And it's making you leak energy. And I just want to see you step up. You know what I love about the Bible? The Bible is deep, but it's practical. It's relevant for right now. So will you take responsibility? A big part of your leadership is going to be responsibility. A big part of your being a man is going to be responsibility. A big part of your being a father and a husband and a leader and a friend and a high producer in your life, whatever you want to do, is going to be, will you take responsibility? At G5, I would encourage you to look it up. We have 6 behaviors. I'm going to tell you about 3. And I ask people to take responsibility. 1 is make it better. Whenever you get around, make it better. Any environment you walk into, make it better. Have you ever had people in your life when they walk into your environment, they decrease it? Oh, yes, you have. And I just want to tell you, I don't want to be one of those people, and I don't want you to be one of those people, and you won't be those people. You wouldn't be those people. Well, can I tell you, you wouldn't be on this call tonight. The next one is taking it personal. You got to take it personal. Right. Stop thinking, well, somebody else will take care of it. Take it personal. Another one is stay fit. And that just means staying fit mentally, emotionally, spiritually. When I start building teams around me, I always look around them, and I'm not negative, but I am aware. And I always go, I wonder what would be in their life that could take us out. And I wonder in my own life, Tim, where are you not responsible? Because the beginning of responsibility always begins with accountability. And so I just want to encourage you in your life to be that person that people say, I can count on him. I can depend on him. I can stand with him. The next S stands for, will you just honestly, will you have the strength to stay in the fight? Will you have the strength to stay in the fight? It's not fun. You know this. When you're in the middle of the battle, to look around and see people just fainting. It takes strength. It takes strength to keep going. It takes strength to keep dreaming. You know what it takes strength for? It takes strength to stay in the battle for your faith. It takes strength to stay in the battle of overcoming yourself. So I just want to ask you in your life right now, will you stay at it? Will you stay motivated? Men, don't get mad at me. Let me just talk to you for a second, okay? The worst day in your life is when somebody else has to come and set the standard in your life. You got to have strength to set the standard. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. You lead. I'm not talking about being arrogant. I'm not talking about being controlling. I'm not talking about trying to take control over everybody. I'm talking about strength to serve. If you're going to do this, guys, if you're going to have strength, you got to have strength of character. You have to have integrity. You've got to actually have strength of character to make the right choice. Life is full of a bunch of choices. I told a group of leaders the other day, I said, listen to me. When you're born, you look like your parents. When you die, you look like your choices. You've got to decide in your life, what are you going to do with the choices every day in your life? I got to make the right choices. And by the way, you think you're the only one that has a temptation. Everything that's wrong in the world is available to all of us. Wow. We just decide we're not better, but with God's help, we are going to be different. Yeah. Let's be different. So it's going to take strength to be tough-minded. Tough-minded. You ever get around somebody that can't take anything? You ever been around somebody that honestly just crumbles under the first little weight and obstacle or negativity? Do you know what they said about me? Oh, yeah, I really don't care. I really don't care. I hope they're not saying just good things about you. And by the way, I just want to get really close to you right now. My name's Tim. Sorry, that was ugly. I know it was. Hey, I got it. My wife bought me a new pair of $2 glasses. What do you think of those, huh? Yeah, right there, boy. I'm on it. There's nothing worse than being around somebody that folds up on you. Can I tell you, every now and then, I shouldn't tell this story. But every now and then, people show up and they want to help. And they move like 3 blades of grass and they go, oh, I'm famished. I'm going, famished? You move 3 blades of grass. Oh, I'm just so exhausted. I've got a group of people here, men. I'm so sorry. They are so unruly. And I so apologize. And to my Canadian friends, I just want you to know, Kamatalivoo, I love you very much. Kamasava, yeah. I don't even know if I'm speaking French or not. How about we? I got that down, okay? We need some men that won't cave. Oh, I would do it, but I just need my sleep. The world is run by exhausted people. You can sleep when you check out. Sleep is overrated. I will tell you that. Think about, here's what I want you to do tonight. Think about that extra hour. Think of everything you're losing. This morning, I hadn't had sleep in a while. And my wife was sleeping so beautifully when I woke up, and I was like, doggone it, I'm jealous. And so average Tim was going to lay there. Champion Tim. Can you see my star? Champion Tim said, get your hiney out of bed and go exercise. Now I want to tell you, it took a minute to decide whether that was God's voice or Satan's voice. But I finally figured out, I don't think Satan would ever persist in the fact of you should exercise. I think he would probably say, you should lay in bed. Now I just want to get this out. You're praying for your wife. My wife listens to the Satan's voice this morning. She stayed in bed. I got out. I need some smiles out there. I'm just kidding. She needed to sleep. She needed to sleep. Anyhow, she told me later, I almost walked with you. Do you have those people in your life, by the way? I'm over here. I just want you to see her just for a second. She's in the room. I love her so much. I'm giving her a hard time. Anyhow.
Can I say one thing?
Yes, she can say anything.
It's because you fall asleep immediately at night, and I don't sleep till early in the morning. So my sleep is in the morning and yours is at night.
And it's because I don't have a guilty conscience. You know I'm kidding. Hey, can I tell you? I needed to go be alone for an hour this morning. And I just want to encourage you, men, in your life, get tough-minded. It's going to take strength to not give in to distractions. Now, I'm going here, men, and I don't want you to get mad at me. But we're raising a generation of players. Wow. We know how to play. And I just want to encourage you, I'm not against playing. I love to play golf. I love to play. But I'm going to beg you to have the strength of character to fall in love with work. Work. Next time you're in a bathroom, write work on it. And I want to say this because I love you. Now, don't get mad at me and don't quit getting on the call. But some of us have got to work on our discipline. There are 3 things you've got to work on in your life. Matter of fact, I'll do one complete Zoom call on this. You got to work on your identity. If you get used to giving less than your best, it will affect your self-esteem more than you can imagine. If you get used to not finishing tasks, if you get used to not showing up on time, if you get used to in your life of giving average instead of giving your all, that's a tough place to get. Wow. Now, I know some of you men have never had another man express to you what I just expressed, and I'm begging you, don't get mad at me. I'm begging you, just listen and say, how can I get better? I'm trying to get better. I'm going to get better. That's what this is about. So I'm going to work on my identity. I'm going to work on my mindset. And I'm going to work on my disciplines. I'm going to do that. We'll talk about that later. The I stands you have to have incentives in your life, which means I've got to have a reward. David, who's going up against Goliath, had one simple question. What do I get if I kill the big goober? Every man on this call right now, listen to me, I love you. Every man on this call right now, if you do not know what you're fighting for, you won't fight. You'll lay in bed, you'll close yourself in isolation, and everything in your life will begin to diminish. I beg you, don't do it. I beg you to step up. I had a mentor of mine when I was 22 years old ask me one day, he said, Tim, what's better in your life, a day of play or a day of work? I said, well, my mom and daddy probably raised me this way, that if I haven't worked, I can't enjoy playing. Because I believe that playing is a reward of getting your chores done. My mom, she used to tell me all the time, she would say, Tim, you're going to go play later. I'm begging you to get your chores done. And guess what, man? Some days I would go play, and then when I'd come back, she'd go, your chores still have to be done. My whole life, I've been looking for a bunch of men that we could gather together like tonight and go, let's go get our work done, and then let's play. And if we get our work done right, we'll be able to play where most men only dream of playing. You got to decide what's important in your life. I've always heard that behind every great man is a great woman, and I believe that. I'm grateful for my mom, and I'm grateful for my wife. I've kidded her. But let me tell you, this is the hardest working woman I've ever known in my life. She tolerates and puts up with more than anyone I've ever known in my life. And anybody that knows her knows what I'm telling you. And I will tell you that her strength in my life, her encouragement in my life, her love, her belief in me, I can't tell you, man. And I pray this for you. But I will tell you, behind every great man, I not only found a great woman, but I found another great man. It was a coach, it was a mentor, it was a friend, but somebody that steps in, that loves you unconditionally, but sees in you what you are and what you can be. There's not a man on this call tonight that's living in all that you can be and all that you can do. I'm not trying to be positive. I'm telling you the exact truth that you need to know in your life. And you know it inside of yourself. But you've got to decide what's going to be the reward for the work. By the way, for those of us that love Jesus, the reward is that one day I'm going to hear him say, well done, Goady. You were faithful over a few things. Now I'm going to make you ruler over many. You see, when I get to heaven, I believe God's going to ask me, how'd you treat my daughter? I'm not only talking about my daughter, Bree. I'm talking about the daughter that is God's daughter, and that's my wife. And so, men, I'm asking you, let's get rid of the things that we don't want. Let's stop looking at the things we don't want. Let's stop doing the things we don't want. And let's start setting in our lives. Hey, I'm going to make a difference. Here's the reward. The S stands for success. You got to decide what it is. That's not my thing. Far be it from me to ever tell you what success means to you. I will tell you, I've got people in my life that define success in Haiti as a little mom whose children are starving right now and they need antibiotic. And she's praying, God, get me some food. Get me some pills so my little kids can get rid of this infection. That's success to her. I've got men on this call right now. I was on calls earlier today. Can I tell you? Their definition is one more jet and one more yacht. And you would say, Tim, I just don't agree with that. Well, you can do whatever you want to do. I have no judgment. You've got to tell me what is success. Man, I'm going to ask you to bear down after we get off this call. And I'm going to ask you to answer one simple question for me. What is it that you want? What is it that you want tonight? What is it that you want in the morning? What is it that you want at the end of this week? What is it 90 days from now? And I want to ask you a question. What could we do together that we can't do separately? If one can put 1,000 to flight, two can put 10,000. Man, I've been vulnerable. I've come to you and I've told you, I have a dream to have 1 million men marching in this army, standing up stronger, knowing who they are, being willing to be instead of uncommitted. We talked about commitment last month. Moving to the land of committed that says, not only am I committed, but I'm going to be persistent. And I will tell you that success for me, here's what it means. I want you to describe that. Some of you, it may be, you know what? I never gave up. Some of you, it may be that those closest to me love me and respect me and admire me and have received more from me than anyone else. Here's what I know, though. God wants you to decide what it is. You say, Tim, is it okay that as a man I want to be great? Isn't it interesting that Jesus said, if you want to be great, then become a servant? I've had so many people come to me and go, you understand, Tim, I'm that man that no, that's not what I do. And I go, then I'll know what you will never be. If you want to be great, be the servant of all. That doesn't mean the doormat to all. It doesn't mean the piece of rug that's at the front of your door. It doesn't mean that. It means I serve people. I serve people. And you've heard me say it 1,000 times. If serving is beneath you, then leadership is above you. So where should you serve? Thank you for asking. You should serve in the level of your giftedness. Some of you, it's ideals. Some of you, it's giving. Some of you, it's literally in physical work. And by the way, it doesn't hurt. I have a friend of mine right now that I don't know how old he is. Is he 72, 73 years old? 75 years old, that gets on a riding mower every day at the ranch. And he's living a whole new life. He told me, he goes, whatever that seat is on that mower, I've got to get because it's helping my back. And I'm going to start charging you for mowing because you don't need to go to the chiropractor anymore. So here we go. Hey, man, I got to shut this thing down. You ready? Until the next call. I want us all on this call tonight to whatever you put your hand to for the next 30 days. Be persistent. Be persistent. And watch what happens. You want me to do the tea? My wife is over there going, do the tea. Here's what I want to tell you. Persist. Are you ready? Try again. For the next 30 days, have a fresh start. Yeah, but Tim, I failed. Try again. Tim, I failed here. Try again. Tim, I'm miserable. Try again. Tim, I'm so discouraged right now. Try again. Listen, I have people on this call tonight. You're the highest performers in the world. And you just finished the worst week of your life. And you think something's wrong with you. I want to tell you, every high performer has a cycle. If you'll stay persistent, the deal's coming. If you'll stay persistent, your marriage is going to get better. If you will stay persistent, God is about to give you miracles that you never dreamed of. If you will stay persistent, and right now, I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you right now because most of you on this call tonight think that the way God's going to bless you is that He's up in heaven right now preparing the blessing. The blessing's already been prepared. Did you hear me? What he's working on is you and me. He's preparing me to be able to step into the blessing. He's preparing me right now to be able to handle the blessing. Right now, the reason some of us haven't received all that's in your heart to receive is because you're not ready to receive it yet. And the reason that you're on this call is because you're going to get in a place where you now can see it, you can receive it, and then you can start living it. It's already been prepared. He said, I go away and I prepare. He said, I've laid up things for you that you cannot even imagine. The blessing's already there. Everything that you want in your heart, God's already got it. He's trying to prepare you for the receiving of it. Hey, we got 30 more days. I'm going to keep sending you the emails, and I'm probably going to send some videos this month to go along with the how to pray for your wife, what to pray for your wife. And by the way, so many of you, you have no idea when you email me. You have no idea how it encourages me. And so some of you have just said, thank you so much for sending these prayers. It just helps me focus. So guys, let's not give up. Let's persist. Some of you have got things in your life that you don't quite have in order yet. Don't give up. We're going to get there. And I'm going to work on getting to you. Don't force your wife, but you can just say, honey, here's the list if you would like to have it. And I'm also going to help you pray for your children, okay? Men, I love you more than you know. Go kill this thing. Persist. Don't give up. We are about to win, and God's going to receive the glory. Charge.